original animation is dead, and it's all our fault. On June 20th, Pixar released the movie Elio, which basically bombed. With just $20.8 million domestically, it is the lowest opening frame at the box office in Pixar's history. Now, if you haven't heard or watched the movie, don't worry, neither have I, and neither have a lot of people, apparently. And according to Disney, it's our fault.
Stop complaining that Disney doesn't make original stories if you don't show up to movie theaters and support them in the first place. Who said that? Oh my gosh. I thought I was the only one in my car. But anyways, there's a new original story. Look at that. From Disney Pixar called Elio. You should go ahead and support it. It comes out this Friday. So yeah, you should go to movie theaters. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. It's completely our fault for not supporting original series. Maybe that's why Disney keeps making live-action masterpieces like Snow White and Mufasa and Lilo and Stitch.
Ohana means family, Lilo, which means no one gets left behind. Ohana means foster care, Lilo. So I'm gonna leave you with the government and I'm gonna go to mainland America to study a degree that's in Hawaii at their university.
Let's not dwell on the live-action remakes, that's the story for another day. Today, let's focus on the animation, namely Elio. Why did Elio flop so badly that the only time people heard about it is through YouTube videos covering their failure? Full disclaimer, I haven't watched Elio. I actually haven't been watching a lot of Disney's animations actually ever since they released a piece of crap called Wish. By the way, when I say Disney, I also mean Pixar because they're owned by Disney. So I only watched Elio's trailer, which is about a boy named Elio, obviously, who doesn't have any friends and gets abducted by aliens and befriends an alien. There's a lot of aliens in this movie, and I guess he's helping them from the Armageddon that's about to befall their alien planet, I guess. I don't know, that's what I get from the trailer. But to be honest, I don't think it's that bad. There are parts that are genuinely funny, like when Elio's mom opens a parenting book and asks Elio which emotion he feels, and Elio says his mom looks like the emotion overwhelmed. That made me laugh a little. And the reviews of the movie are actually pretty good. So if the review is good, then why did it flop? Some people say it's the lack of marketing. Where is the marketing for the movie?
Now, one of the consensus here is that it's a marketing related issue, and I would partially agree with this because I personally didn't see one single ad. Someone said didn't even know it was out. Where's the marketing?
I don't know what Pixar did exactly for Elio's marketing effort, but judging from the average people's lack of knowledge about it, I don't think they did a very good job. Some even claim their TikTok ad is actually very confusing.
Let's play a little game, okay? So I'm gonna show you the teaser trailer I got for this movie, and I want you to tell me what you think the plot is about. What on earth was that?
I'm supposed to be up there. This mole is the exact shape of the Orion Nebula.
I think you should have that looked at.
This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have any idea what the movie is about just from watching these short form ads. All I get is there's a boy who likes space and probably has a skin disease, but like that doesn't intrigue me to watch or find out more about the movie. I mean, in the end, I did watch the trailer for the sake of making this video, but if not, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Even the trailer isn't very intriguing in my opinion. They want to show that Elio is a lonely boy who doesn't have any friends on Earth, and that's why he wants to be abducted by aliens. That sounds like a good plot, right? But I just don't feel any, like, empathy to Elio. How do I say this without sounding sociopathic? They don't do a good job in showing Elio as a lonely little boy. Like, why does he feel lonely? Why doesn't he have any friends? Why is he so desperate to be abducted by aliens? All these questions are making it hard for me to relate or empathize with the character. And I'm not going to watch the movie just to learn more about this Elio character. Because personally, the movie doesn't look appealing to me, like visually and story-wise, I guess. I don't know, maybe because I'm an old-ass adult. And then there's also the art style. The bean mouth art style that people are complaining about. Lately, Pixar's character design has shifted to a more cartoonish, bubbly, childlike look, namely on Luca, Turning Red, and Elio. These three animations have similar art styles and character design, especially on the mouth that is shaped like a bean. This type of art style has been used a lot in 2D animations like in Steven Universe, The Amazing World of Gumball, Adventure Time, but when used in 3D animations, people just hated it. Don't believe me? Just Google Pixar Bean Mouth. You'll see what I'm talking about. Visual-wise, I think the problem with Elio lies deeper than just the bean mouth style. I think it's the whole character design. Pixar's animations always have memorable and distinct characters. You can tell that they're designed by Pixar, but every movie feels like its own. For example, people wouldn't think that Mr. Incredible and Linguini came from the same movie. But if you put Luca, Turning Red, and Elio in the same picture, they look like they came from the same movie because there are no distinct characteristics between the three. And by the way, designing a distinct character doesn't mean slapping a bunch of plastic utensils on the cape. No, it's from the silhouette. You can easily tell that this is Carl from Up, this is the dinosaur from Toy Story, this is from A Bug's Life, this is Mr. Incredible, this is Linguini, this is Eve, this is Matter. Compare it with Pixar's newest animation characters. There are no distinctions and unique characteristics between them. Also, another thing that bothers me about Elio's visual is the color scheme. I don't know, it just looks dull even when it's supposed to be bright. Like the color harmony just overall looks off. At least with Luca, the colors work so well together. They're bright and vibrant and really brings out the warm and beautiful vibe of seaside Italy, which is where the movie is set. There are also discussions that Pixar started to experiment with more stylized and cartoonish art style after the release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And other major studios have started to adapt a stylized animation look instead of a realistic approach that Pixar has always done. Now look, art style changes over time. Look at anime. They do it all the time. We as an artist constantly improve our art style. But it's also important to know your audience. Spider-Verse is stylized and cartoonish, yes, but the visual isn't meant for small children that's like 7 or 8 years old. Spider-Verse's art style is still very appealing even if you're 30 years old. Compare it with Elio's art style. I can't imagine any adults who don't have little kids going to the movies just to watch Elio because of the art style.
Maybe Elio is made for little children.
Probably, but Pixar isn't a studio that make Cocomelon bullshit. This is the studio that made legends like Toy Story, Wall-E, Up, Cars, The Incredibles, that even my dad, who's in his 50s, would still enjoy watching. I don't think Pixar is that dumb. I think they know that their audience is not all little children. There are adults, a lot of adults, that enjoy watching their movies. So why they decided to go with this art direction, knowing their audience, is just beyond me. And by the way, Pixar, the adults pay for the movie tickets, not the children. But what about the story? Is it true what Disney claimed?
Stop complaining that Disney doesn't make original stories if you don't show up to movie theaters and support them in the first place. Who said that?
I also found an article that says Elio faced an uphill battle from the start, largely because it's an original story, not a sequel or remake. Elio was released against 2 live-action remakes of popular animated films, How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch. On the other side of the demographic spectrum, 28 years later, a sequel to zombie film 28 Days Later, coming out a literal 23 years later, also hit theaters at the same weekend. Okay, 3 words. Kpop Demon Hunters. Is it a sequel? No. When did it come out? the same day as Elio, apparently. Did it blame How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch, and 28 years later? No, because it didn't flop. And it wasn't on movie theaters, it's on Netflix. But if it was, I think K-pop Demon Hunters would still have a much bigger success than Elio. By the way, I just watched K-pop Demon Hunters and it was so good. I wish Abby would have more screen time, but overall it was a great movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. K-pop Demon Hunters knew their target audience. It's teenagers to young adults who likes K-pop or K-drama or Korean culture in general, which is why the art direction, the story, and the music match the taste of their audience. And if other people who know nothing about Korean culture watch it and can still enjoy the movie, then that's even better. Viewers don't just support any original stories. They support good original stories. So I think it's very arrogant of Disney to blatantly blame viewers because we don't want to spend money on their movies. Like, dude, brother, sister, you work in an entertainment industry. Creating an engaging and entertaining stories is in your job description. You made a bland and boring story and it's our fault as viewers? Like, how? Elio is not that bad of a movie, sure, but it's not enough to drive people to spend money on it, except maybe people with little children. But like I mentioned, Pixar's viewers does not consist of little children only. A lot of them are adults. And again, I think Pixar knew about this. There are also discussions about the main character changes in Pixar movies. It used to be toys, animals, cars, robots, but recently all the main characters are quirky, clumsy kids with issues. Personally, I don't think the problem is the main character being a child, but it's the lack of relatability. Back then, Pixar's main characters are flawed. For example, in Toy Story, Woody was insecure and jealous of Buzz Lightyear. In Up, Carl was a bitter old man. And in Cars, Lightning McQueen was selfish and arrogant. But these characters became better with character development, and we as viewers enjoy seeing this process. Elio is an innocent, bubbly kid with no flaws. At least that's what I gather from the trailer and reviews. He's just quirky and different, which is why he has trouble fitting in, which I think a lot of people can actually relate with, but I don't think Pixar is doing a good job in showing that. They just made Elio say, I have no friends on earth, and his mom, or is it his aunt, say, why can't you have any friends? I don't know, maybe they show it better in the movie. I don't care enough to find out. Indonesia has a best-selling animated movie called Jumbo. It's very beautifully made by amazing Indonesian animators. It even replaced Frozen 2 as the best-selling animation movie in Indonesia. The main character, Don, is also an innocent, bubbly little kid with no flaws, just like Elio. But the trailer did a great job showing Don, who stays positive and cheerful even though he lost his parents and was bullied because of his weight. By the way, I cried watching the trailer, especially when Don tells his parents he loves them. The voice actor did such an amazing job.
Don sayang ayah dan ibu.
So I don't think it matters if the main character is a little kid or car or fish. It's how you make their life story relatable. A lot of people can relate to Don being bullied for his appearance because maybe they were also in the same situation before. Elio didn't have any friends because he likes aliens, which could be relatable, by the way, but Pixar did an awful job telling the story that people have a hard time to empathize with the character. I also learned that Elio underwent a director change from Adrian Molina to Madeleine Sarafian and Domi Shi. There are differing accounts on the exact feedback that the director received from Pixar boss Pete Docter when the lights went up, with rumors circulating in some of the studio circles that Molina was hurt by the conversation. The part that is clear is that Molina exited the project soon after. So apparently, Elio was supposed to be queer-coded at first, having a male crush and has a passion for environment and fashion. This is fascinating. Elio was originally supposed to be queer. The director wanted it to reflect his own story of growing up gay, having crushes on men, and wearing pink and purple, seriously, and wearing pink and purple clothes. Test audiences didn't like it. The director was fired, and the film was remade. Okay, let me just say this. Stop with the self-insert. Have we learned nothing from Velma and I'm Not Starfire? You're not creating a movie for your own enjoyment. The audience needs to like the story and the characters. Why? Because that's how you get money from us. Your life story might be amusing to you, but other people might find it boring and not relatable. I think the only person who's made self-insert good is Tolkien, the writer of Lord of the Rings, but that's because he fought in World War I and was a professor at Oxford. His life story is interesting. Also, and you guys might disagree with me on this, but bringing up topics like sexual orientation and being queer in a movie, shouldn't the main character be older? Like, Elio is like 11 years old. He's a little kid. I just feel that topics like sexual orientation being presented by a literal child character in a movie is just not appropriate. Maybe if Elio was 16 or 17, not a little child, I think it will be more appropriate. I don't know. What you guys think? And also, I don't think there's anything wrong in including your agenda in the movie. You just have to deliver it right and be entertaining. Get Out is a great example. It's not an animation, but they're able to package the topic of racism so well in a thriller horror movie where the white people only see black people as a vessel instead of a person. Anyway, apparently Pixar also scrapped the environmental aspect, which is why Elio is wearing a cape full of plastic waste with no explanation. And yet, it's our fault for not supporting original stories. Do they not realize how dumb they sound when they made that TikTok video? Jesus. However, I have a conspiracy theory. What if? Okay, let's put on our tinfoil hat for a moment. Why do people like to put on tinfoil hat when making conspiracy theories? Like, what does it do? Like, does it attract electricity or something? Anyway, what if Pixar bombed Elio so hard after the director change so that people would constantly talk about how bad it is and just, to keep the buzz going? Maybe at this point they thought that every publicity is good publicity. And, it works. I mean, people are talking about Elio. I mean, anything's possible. Or maybe I'm just going insane. Okay, anyway, I'm going to finish my ice cream, which I bought 2 weeks ago and put in the freezer and completely forgot about it. And hopefully I don't get sick. Bye!